tonight.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
You want more of on WCBM.com.
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Happy Monday. Sing it.
God bless America.
He said God.
Land that I love.
Democrats are freaking out.
Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above.
I'm going to tell you, yesterday I went down to Rededicate 250. It's the Marine Band, by the way. Unbelievable. What?
America, my home, sweet home.
Wow.
God bless America, my home, sweet home.
I'll tell you what, I went down yesterday, and I brought a friend with me, and we got into the Rededicate 250, which was a massive faith rally, and there were people waiting in line for 3 hours to get in. We were fortunate enough to get in about a half an hour, had some media credentials, and it was absolutely stunning. There was so much joy, and I told you that what we have to do is we have to overwhelm the left with joy, patriotism, and I've added faith, and now I know, because I saw a few of these caterwauling harpies from hell screeching out of their bullhorn on a corner, and you know what the people in line did? Ignored them completely. Ignored them completely. I didn't. I went over and said, you don't even believe in God. Get out of here. And I waved them off. And then they dissipated, oddly enough. They went away. Doesn't take much. It's like throwing holy water on a vampire. But the people in line didn't care. They didn't care at all. There was so much love and so much just, I gotta tell you, it was something else. I saw musical groups, I saw speakers, and it was just joyous and handshaking and high fives and holding hands with people in prayer that you didn't even know. It was absolutely amazing. Funny, though, I got recognized by a bunch of people. It's like, oh, Rob Carson, I watch you all the time, Rob Carson. And one guy, actually, a couple people recognized my voice when I was talking. They're like, you're Rob Carson. And I was very flattered by it, and we did a bunch of selfies and all of that. And again, it's very flattering. But yesterday, I'm going to tell you, there was so much love for the National Guard. There was so much love for the police there. I mean, people were just, everybody, thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. I mean, it was almost like the National Guard troops must have been like, what the hell? I saw so many smiles on the face of the police and the National Park Service and the National Guard. So much joy. There was nothing. And the left, all the left can do was caterwaul and howl and say, oh, separation of church and today. Go to hell. Okay? Just go to hell. Because you're losing, and I'm telling you, if you are a Democrat in good standing, you should let your party go to hell, and you should try to say what's left of it. I mean it. There was nobody there saying that you've got to be a Democrat to get in or a Republican to be in or whatever to be in. It was just absolutely wonderful. And I took the woman that I went with is a person of color. And she comes from Sierra Leone originally. She's been living about 30 years. And she lives in Baltimore and has never been to the Lincoln Memorial. Has never been there, never been up and seen Abe. And so we went to the base of the Lincoln Memorial, and you could see the pride in her face. And then we went up and stood in front of Abe Lincoln's statue. And we went over and we read the Gettysburg Address on the left side as you go in, and on the right side is the second inauguration, I believe, speech on the right side. But we stuck with the Gettysburg Address, and then we looked out over the reflecting pool, which is nearly complete. They're going to be filling it with water very soon. Again, more caterwauling from the left. It's not really a reflecting pool. It's blue, and it's costing more than Donald Trump's. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up, all of you! Shut up! Shut up about the ballroom. They've been wanting a ballroom forever. They've been wanting a ballroom forever. Jackie O wanted a ballroom. For God's sake, we've got a builder in the White House named Donald Trump, and he's doing it with private money, and it's going to be a glorious thing. And all the Democrats can do is be and whine about it. Eric Swallowswell said they would tear it down if a Democrat got back in the White House. How stupid, how selfish, and how awful. How awful. How dare you, honestly. This is why you're going to be left behind. This is why you're going to be left behind. The Democrat Party is going to be left in the dustbin of history. And I just wish you could have been there yesterday and felt what I felt yesterday. I didn't bring any sunscreen because it was starting to rain at the beginning, and I didn't think the sun would come out. I didn't think it would get that hot. And it ended up being hot, so I'm walking to buy a hat. And there's some ladies on a blanket, and I said, oh, and they were putting on sunscreen. I said, oh, could I get a little sunscreen? Oh, my goodness, yes, oh, my goodness. And then they recognized me. Then you're Rob Carson. I said, yes. And I got sunscreen, and I got hugs, and I got selfies, and it was just so joyous. And on Saturday, I got my new mountain bike, and I went and I rode to Mount Vernon and back, 36 miles. Not using the electric assist that much, but of course I did, because you can't just get on a bike and ride 36 miles without training, although I am in very good shape. But I did that. The only negative is a lot of these guys who are the guys who wear spandex and are serious road bikers, you know, and they have the uncomfortable seats rammed up their butts. They really resent e-bike riders. And I wasn't a jerk on my e-bike. I was really cool on my, but I got some dirty looks and some dirty comments, and I gave them a little what fur. But I'm going to tell you, I rode this trail to Mount Vernon, the most beautiful trail I've ever been on. It was swamp and an eagle's nest, and then there was woods, and it was dense, and it smelled like moth, and the birds were chirping, and then there was the wide open Potomac with no development around it near Mount Vernon. Absolutely stunning, absolutely stunning. And for those who hate our country, you can go to hell too. For those who've tried to tear down our country, tear down our statues, forget our history, you revolutionary Marxists and communists, go live somewhere else. Because we live in the greatest country in the history of the world. We are blessed to live here. If you came here and you resent this country and you're here to live on welfare and hate our Constitution, you can leave too. You can leave too. My ancestors were immigrants. They came after the Civil War. After 1900, they came here, and they were Irish and English and German, and the Germans moved to the Midwest to toil in the sun and to turn the soil and feed the world and And there are Italians, and there are Chinese, and I can go on and on. I'm so done with the darkness. I'm so done with the left and the Democrat Party as it is. And I knew I was right. I knew I was right when I said that if we overwhelm them with joy, patriotism, and faith, they will crumble. And they're crumbling, and they're crumbling, and they're crumbling. It is happening. It is happening. I have had, in the last 48 hours, darkness try to creep back into my life. And I know it's if you believe in Satan, then yes. And a lot of things, a lot of doubt. I've got my home is being sold in Kansas City. I can't be there. It's 30 years of belongings are loaded in a truck or donated, and it's been very hard. It's been really, really hard. Yesterday saved me. Yesterday saved me. And if you are struggling and darkness is tugging at you, don't let it do that. Don't. Because we're winning. Faith, patriotism, and joy. I'll handle the mockery and the ridicule, because the left can only be mocked and ridiculed right now. Conservative comedy is ascending because the left cannot be taken seriously anymore. And they're getting their butts kicked big time. I've got so much to get to on the show today. Bill Cassidy is gone from Congress. Donald Trump is very pleased about that. So am I, by the way. Thomas Massey is next. We've got special guests on the show. Caitlyn Bennett today on the show. Hilary Fordwich on the show. England is alive. They have awakened a sleeping giant. They're tired of the Islamist horde, and they're going to take their country back. There's just a lot of good happening. A lot of good happening. I'm going to be here with you to celebrate. How's that sound? 800-922-6680 is the number. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know my signature phrase, don't catch the stupid. When it comes to Medicare, that's easier said than done. Medicare is overly complex with thousands of plans, hidden gotchas in the fine print, and rules nobody really explains to you. Many people just pick something and hope for the best. That's why you need to know about Chapter. They're the only advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. When your call with Chapter is done, you know your doctors are covered. Your prescriptions are matched, and you go from, I hope I did this right, to, I know I did. That, my friends, is peace of mind. A call with Chapter is free for my audience, and there's no pressure to sign up. Call Chapter today. Here's the number, 27 Medicare. That's 27 MEDICARE. 27 Medicare for Chapter. No pressure. What's your excuse? Call 27 Medicare and don't catch the stupid yourself. Call 27 Medicare today.
News Talk Station.
I make the Democrats look incredibly dumb. Inflation is down, the economy's starting to hum. Still, it's a real good bet, the best is yet to come. Best is yet to come since we bombed Iran. Taking out all their nukes, that was part of the plan. The border's secure once again. Illegals are getting in. Doge has saved us billions. This is what it's like to win. Best is yet to come, and it's gonna be fine. Best is yet to come. Hear the Democrats whine. Listen to them whine. The last laugh is mine. I always accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. Latch on to the affirmative. With me, there is no in between. State of the Union scored. Approval rate, how it has soared. Democrats cannot afford to take me for granted anymore. Inflation's low, employment's high. The Dow Jones, it is headed for the sky. Borders secure, illegals aren't jetting in. That's why I accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. Latch on to the affirmative. With me, there is no in between.
WCBM.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
This is our Secretary of State yesterday.
On this day, 2.5 centuries ago, our forefathers gathered for the second time in as many years for a national day of fasting and prayer. The resolution of the Continental Congress called on the 13 colonies to humble themselves in preparation for the coming war, with true penitence of heart and the most reverent devotion publicly to acknowledge the overruling providence of God.
Wow.
In 3.5 months' time, the colonists would be in open revolt against the most powerful empire in the history of the world.
Yeah.
Many, on both sides of the Atlantic, thought their cause was a suicide mission.
Yeah.
The founders were not naive men. They knew their lives were on the line. That was the premise of Benjamin Franklin's dark joke after signing the Declaration of Independence, where he said, "We must indeed all hang together, or most assuredly, we shall all hang separately."
It was such a glorious weekend in Washington, D.C. I hope that if you are planning a trip, you will consider coming here while Donald Trump is the president, because it is just something else. So much joy. I talked to National Guard from Louisiana and from where the hell else? West Virginia, Mississippi, Virginia. It was just something else. It was just something else. Anyway, welcome to the show. We got much to get to. By the way, a growing number of Americans say religion is gaining influence in society. What? Overwhelm the left with what? Joy, patriotism, and what? Yeah. While 61% say religion is losing influence in American life, that represents a dramatic fall in those sentiments over the last few years because, Joe Biden isn't the president anymore, you see. The share saying religion is gaining influence has risen 19 percentage points in the last 2 years and is now as high as it has been in center surveys going back to 2002. 2002. And it's not about religion. It's about faith. It's about a belief in something higher than yourself. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. And honestly, listen, we should be joyful. Look at where you live. Look at the country you're living in. My goodness. I know gas prices are freaking high. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. I get it. But guess what? You can get on Amazon and have anything you want delivered to your house. If you want anything to eat, all you got to do is just hit a little app on your phone. If you want to have somebody drive you, you just go on to Uber and you're there. I mean, my goodness, are you kidding me? Compared to what the founders went through, to what our ancestors went through, my ancestors were dirt poor. You know what dirt poor means? It means you're so poor that your floors are made of dirt. Did you realize in the time of my ancestors, this is like in the 1920s, they had this oil that you could buy to put on the dirt floor to make it into like a hard surface. That's how poor they were. There's another thing. It's called, pardon the expression, piss poor. You know what piss poor is? Piss poor is you're so poor that you had to sell your urine to tanneries in places like New York. You were so poor, they used tanneries, they used human urine to do it. And then, you've ever heard the expression, so poor you don't have a pot to piss in? Some people didn't have enough money for a pot to take it to the tannery. So, I mean, honestly, quit your B-wording. It's just so funny. Oh my God. Oh my God. My Uber order wasn't here on time. Shut up. Oh no, I had to wait an extra hour at the airport to fly across the country in 5 hours. It used to take 3 months and half of the party would die of dysentery. Oh my God. It's just so funny. It's so funny. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Uh-oh, this is not good. U.S. intelligence shows Cuba acquiring 300 drones weighs a possible U.S. attack. Do they really want to F around and find out? Do they really want, because honestly, right now they're teetering. Oh, my gosh. So U.S. intelligence reveals Cuba's acquired 300 military drones, talked about using them to attack the U.S. naval base at Guantanamo Bay. That's like kicking a pit bull. That's really not smart. Not smart. They might hit American military missiles, potentially Key West. Really? You guys who drive 57 Chevys and get 5 pounds of beans and a pound of rice every month. Really, you're gonna poke this? Okay, good. Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. Because all it's going to take is one little beep, and then you're gone. Then it's no holds barred. Then it's wow, you're done. You're toast. Crazy. So Donald Trump was kind of gloating a little bit because of the defeat of Bill Cassidy. Now, Bill Cassidy was one of the 7 Republicans who voted to convict Donald Trump following the January the 6th on Capitol Hill. There was that PSYOP created by the FBI and the CIA to lure a bunch of people into the Capitol, and no police officers were killed. No, just 2 Trump supporters. They were both murdered, actually. There was that. So the seeds of Saturday's Louisiana Senate primary were planted February 13th when Cassidy became one of those Republicans who voted to convict Donald Trump. The vote marked Cassidy's persona non grata with the MAGA base almost immediately, set in motion a years-long effort to replace him. That only strengthened after Trump recaptured the White House in 2024. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Here's Bill Cassidy throwing some shade on Donald Trump during his concession speech.
I've been able to participate in democracy. And when you participate in democracy, sometimes it doesn't turn out the way you want it to. But you don't pout. You don't whine. You don't claim the election was stolen. You don't find a reason why. You don't manufacture some excuse. You thank the voters for the privilege of representing the state or the country for as long as you've had that privilege. And that's what I'm doing right now.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, loser. By the way, this is the acting Attorney General, Todd Blanche, and he says they got ample evidence that 2020 was stolen.
Well, there's a ton of evidence that the election was rigged. That's not something the DOJ needs to tell you about.
Yeah.
There's been evidence about that for many, many years. What I can tell you is that we have multiple investigations going on in Arizona, in Georgia, in Fulton County, Georgia, and that's exactly what we're looking at. By the way, this is very difficult because they're very good. They're very good at hiding up misconduct and hiding what they're doing. And so that's why we're very focused on finding out whether the right people voted, whether people who were supposed to vote voted, whether there was one vote cast per voter. And that's what we're doing in multiple states. And I expect, and again, people, you'll say to me, how long?
It is crazy. You couldn't say anything about 2020 being rigged forever. They censored our speech. Remember that? This is the acting AG right here, people.
How long is it taking? Why is it taking so long? And the reality, the answer to that is because it takes a lot of work to uncover what happened in 2020. It takes a lot of old, good old-fashioned law enforcement police work, which is what we're doing, and we have great prosecutors working on it as well. And I expect that, and I assure the American people that as soon as we have something to say for it, whether it's charges, whether it's a report, whether it's the results of an investigation, the American people will learn about what we've uncovered.
That's not what Bill Cassidy said when he was throwing shade on Donald Trump there as he's been booted out of the Senate. By the way, you know the right decision was made when Mitt Romney says of Bill Cassidy, the Senate to now lose an exceptionally brilliant and creative mind and an MD who chairs healthcare and a person of character. What has he done for healthcare in Congress? Until Robert Kennedy came in, and he's not even a doctor. Yeah, exactly. Let's take a break and come back, my friends. This is the Rob Carson Show. For 250 years, Americans have believed in one powerful idea, that we were meant to live free to work hard, free to move, free to enjoy life without being held back. But if everyday aches and pains are slowing you down, might be time to declare your independence from pain. I did with Relief Factor. That's how I'm able to crush it at the gym every day. Thank you very much. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free, research-based formula designed to help your body fight inflammation, one of the root causes of pain. It's not a quick fix or a temporary mask. It works from the inside out, at the source. Relief Factor was created so people could get back to living life on their terms, walking, working, exercising, and enjoying the moments that matter. This year, as we celebrate 250 years of American independence, take a stand for your own freedom. Declare your independence from pain. Try Relief Factor today for just $19.95. Your 3-week quick start is ready for you. Visit relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF.
TDS. James Covell has TDS. Will I land in a psych ward? That is anybody's guess. It's for sure I'm insane. I really can't explain why for Donald Trump I have so much disdain. I'm as crazy as a loon. I'm gonna crack up soon. It's expanding like a big balloon. It's gotten even worse. It's gonna be my curse. TDS, TDS, TDS. TDS, TDS, is it derangement? I say yes. Whenever Trump is mentioned, I become a giant mess. He causes me such pain, pain I can't contain. Of my existence, he has been a bane, like Ellen and Rosie. In our brain, he lives rent-free, driven me as crazy as can be. It's something I can't shake. How much more can I take? TDS, TDS, TDS.
Hey guys, it's Carson for GhostBed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a GhostBed. GhostBed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately. My first night on a GhostBed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about GhostBed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. GhostBed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime.
Nothing would be finer than to get my way with China. Watch me do it. Here's hoping that our sessions will result in big concessions. Nothing to it. Xi Jinping doesn't scare me. He can talk quite tough. If he tries to dare me, I will tell him enough. I know he has his eye on taking over Taiwan. Can't let that happen. The chairman has to know, unlike Sleepy Joe, I won't be napping. I will tell the Chinese to stay out of Iran. Xi Jinping, I'm gonna face man to man. Nothing will be finer than to get my way with China and the commies. I am gonna own those commies.
It's true that President Trump has a huge influence in our state, as he does still across the country, and you see that over and over in all these elections. It's the most powerful endorsement in the history of politics, and it continues to be shown. But, this is a vibrant party. It's a strong party. We're in great position to win the midterms, defy history and win the midterms, and we're excited about that, working every day to make sure that happens so we can keep this agenda going to bring America back.
Yeah, there you go. Another Trump, Trump targeted Bill Cassidy, because Bill Cassidy voted to impeach Donald Trump for January the 6th, even though he said march peacefully and all of that. And so he was in on that, all that nonsense. Consequently, he's looking for a job in the private sector. Jason Chaffetz gave him a little what for this weekend, by the way, after he lost.
And I'll continue to be loyal, working with whoever I can so that the people I represent have a better life. You can say whatever you want. No one can doubt I have the courage of my convictions, that I'm working for the future of my state and the future of my country. I'm incredibly proud of that.
The country kind of went to crap while you were in Congress, sir, and it's finally actually started to turn around.
Chairman Jason Chaffetz, you and I got to serve in the Congress for a little while, but my question for you is still about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, knowing what you know now about the farce that was put forward to the American people and the Congress, knowing what you know now, would you still vote to actually convict Donald Trump of the charges that he was put up for?
Yeah, answer the question. You think he's gonna?
Reporters always love to ask that question.
Nope.
I'm a doctor. You give me all the information I can. I make a decision. I move on. I don't care.
Yeah, well, you certainly misdiagnosed that patient, didn't you?
On going back, what happened 5 years ago? I'm thinking about what's going to happen 5 years from now.
With all due respect,
or tonight.
You just talked
Hang
about
on, Jason.
the stuff you've done for the last 5 years.
Yeah, man, you've been talking about the last 5 years.
You just touted everything you've done for the last 5 years. Why can't you answer that question?
Yeah.
Did you or did you not?
Hey, Jason,
knowing
if I
what
can
you
finish,
know now,
Jason, if I can,
I was trying to filibuster.
To answer that question, would you or would you not actually vote to convict, knowing what you know now? It's a simple question.
There you go.
Yeah, Jason, you may go back and flagellate yourself over decisions in the past.
God.
I do not. I move on. By the way, what I'm talking about is not just
And this moving on. You're avoiding the question.
The present. It is the future. Wow. By the way, the future also includes that if somebody wants somebody working for the state of Louisiana for the future, not fixated on the past, then polls close at 8 o'clock tonight. Get out there and vote.
Well, guess what?
By the way,
Your future is going to be a private practice or a Walmart greeter. One or the other. One or the other. I'd prefer you at Walmart greeter. Jim Gossett as the president.
Goodbye to Bill. We've had our fill. Cassidy swallowed a bitter pill. If the primary came in last place, his defeat Bill must face. Cassidy should go away. All I hope and pray that he will.
And he did.
6 months until we're done with Bill.
Bye, Bill. No more Bill on Capitol Hill.
Massey, you're done. Your defeat will be fun. A chance of winning you have none. Lauren Boebert can't bail you out.
Nope.
You'll lose Tuesday, there's no doubt.
Tomorrow.
Massey's gonna see defeat. He's gonna get beat. What a thrill when he meets the same fate as Bill.
There you go. There you go, little Schoolhouse Rock. Bill Clinton. Jim Gossett as Donald Trump. There you go. Go to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy, if you'd like to help him out. Patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Meanwhile, on the Democrat side, what are they going to do? What are they going to get to do to get elected? Do they have a plan for the economy? No. Do they have a plan for Middle Eastern peace? Nope. Do they have a plan for the border? Well, they want to open up again. What do they have? What is their idea? What is the Democrat Party going to do? They're not talking about issues at all. They're talking about tearing the Constitution up.
Say, look, this is a moment where there are no bad ideas. A no bad idea brainstorm is what I'd like to.
Oh my God, you wouldn't even have a brain storm. You wouldn't even have a brain cloud. Actually, you are a brain cloud.
And in that no bad ideas brainstorm,
what's that? What is that?
We talk about what we need to do and think about doing around the Electoral College.
Okay. So you're getting rid of the Electoral College. But what about your plan for the economy and taxes?
We talk about the idea of Supreme Court reform, which includes expanding the Supreme Court.
You're packing the Supreme Court, but what is your plan for the military?
We invite a conversation about multi-members districts. We talk about, that if we win the Senate, which we should and we will.
No, you won't.
Then the Senate Judiciary Committee should have rules that they put in place so when these people come before as nominees to the Supreme Court and lie, that they are held to account.
What about when you come to Congress and you lie about the origins of COVID? You jerk. Oh, my God, just go away, woman. My Lord, she's never going to be the president. She's never going to get elected. She's trailing way behind all the other idiots on the Democrat side of the equation. We're absolutely ridiculous. Here's Lydia Moynihan on CNN bringing up some great points about Kamala's plan.
More power. Yeah, there's been sort of two Democratic responses. The first is hers. And after years of hearing Donald Trump is going to destroy the Constitution and undermine the very fabric of our society.
He's a king. He's a fascist. He's a Nazi.
Now, in order to protect the Constitution, we need to expand the court, undermine the judiciary, eliminate the Electoral College, which is how we've always...
Yeah, the Democrat Party doesn't want to be elected. They want to rule. And it's not going to end well for them. Because I, for one, am not going to be ruled. You see, the king tried that for a while, and we kicked his butt.
Elected the president, and then add D.C. and Puerto Rico as states. I mean, the irony is just beyond that she wants to save democracy by undermining the Constitution. So that's the one reaction.
It's not going to happen. We're not going to allow it to happen because if you try that, there will be hell to pay. And I'm not talking about the thing on Joe Biden's head. That is a hell to pay, but this is completely different. Luke Ball, frequently a guest on this radio program, was talking about Kamala's list of bad ideas.
The leaders are with the squad, the progressive wing of the Democrat Party. The moderates have been held hostage to them for years, and it seems like that's the direction the party is going. And I love this Kamala Harris no bad ideas thing. It's like standing in front of a whiteboard and saying, throw up anything that you could possibly think of here because we have to get some alternative to what the Republicans are offering. This is not the brainstorming phase that the Democrats should be in. This is execution phase. It's like you're in the middle of the Super Bowl, you're at halftime, and the coach is standing there with a whiteboard behind him, completely empty, an expo marker, and asks the team members, got any good ideas? It makes me feel pretty confident heading into the midterm elections that the Democrats are just unified in opposition against President Trump, and we have seen time and time again that's not played out well for them.
No, not at all. Not one little bit. And then the cheating thing also is going away. Maryland is sending new mail-in ballots to more than 565,000 voters after an error. It was an error. No, it wasn't. It was intentional. Give me a friggin' break. This isn't just an error. The state of Maryland will replace all of the mail-in ballots sent out far ahead of next month's primary election. Elections Administrator Jared Demarinis said Friday night an error caused by the state's mail-in ballot vendor led some voters to get the wrong ballot for the primary. The state is sending out ballots to 565,000 people who requested them on Thursday. Let's hope that maybe, people don't send in 3 or 4 of them, which is what Democrats like to do. Mail-in voting is an integral facet of the electoral process, with more than 500,000 voters requesting mail-in ballots. How about get off your butt and go vote in person? How about that? But what about the people who can't drive or don't have IDs? You know what? Honestly, you can do that. But the 565,000 people in Maryland, this many people there's not this many people who can make it to vote in person, is what I'm trying to say. Utterly, utterly ridiculous. And the more that the Democrats are exposed and the more that they see all of the ways they've managed to win elections without having a platform or with buying votes, with government largesse and illegal voting and dead people on the rolls and all of that, as they see this evaporating and their chances of winning evaporating, the crazier they're going to become. And you ain't seen nothing yet. AOC on the other side making a fool of herself. Ayanna Pressley saying that Republicans want blacks picking cotton again. She doesn't know about these things called combines, apparently. But she is convinced that the Republican Party in 2026 is going to send black people out to pick cotton by hand. Okay, go with that. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Just tell the truth. There are people in this hostile anti-black administration that would rather black Americans pick cotton than pick the president, than pick their congressperson, than pick a senator.
Wow, that's just so unbelievably stupid. I don't feel like I should really respond, but I'm going to, because you see, I don't know if you knew this, but cotton has been harvested by machines for years and years and years and years. And what you just said there is completely inflammatory and ridiculous. Absolutely, utterly stupid and ridiculous. And the thing is, there's a thing called crying wolf. It's called crying wolf, and that's what's happening. She's crying wolf, and the American people are going, really? I don't think so. This is on the WPHT in Philadelphia. They had a panel of people of color, also known as black people in this case, and here's what they're talking about. For instance, black men leaving the Democrat Party for bullcrap like she just said.
From my research, Lyndon Baines Johnson said it best. I'll have these N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years, he said something like that. And when you have a party that is promoting everything that this book, the Bible, goes against, at a certain point people are just like, oh, this is crazy.
Like what?
Multiple genders? What is that?
Yeah.
I can't even discipline my children anymore because you want to take my children away from me? What is that? You saying my wife should lead the home and not me? What is that? I can cut my genitals off and I can become a woman? What is that?
I know.
Right?
It's insane.
And so when you have all of this up and you're like, wait, whoa, we're tired. We're tired. The black community is tired of being taken for granted. The Christian community is tired of the immoral stuff that's going on. Psalms 33 says, blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. And it says somewhere, I believe in Proverbs or Psalms, one of the two, it is righteousness that exalts a nation.
Wow, that is crazy. That is on a radio station in Philadelphia, for goodness sake. Wow, that's just amazing. That is just remarkable, isn't it? My gosh. So the price of gold right now is about $4,500. Not too bad, not too bad. You can buy a kilo for $146,000. I thought you should know that, but right now it's $45.47. If you got enough for a kilo, go for it. Go for it. Not talking about that, Hunter. Not talking about that kind of kilo. I'm talking about gold here. About 2.5 pounds of gold, ladies and gentlemen. Right now is a good time to buy gold, physical gold, actually, through Birch Gold, because now through the end of the month, which is coming up in 11 days, May 29th, Birch Gold giving away first-time gold buyers a rebate up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. That's pretty amazing. For information and a free information kit on diversifying into gold, just text my name, Rob, to 989898. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. Text Rob to 989898 to see if you qualify for a first-time gold buyer rebate up to $10,000. It's a really good time because gold is taking a breather. It had a meteoric rise for a couple of years. It's taking a breather. Now's a good time to buy. Now is a good time to buy. Oh, hey, this is kind of funny. We had Ayanna Pressley being an idiot there. Okay. This was fun. Democrats, they're all mad about gerrymandering now, even though they've gerrymandered all the Republican representation out of the upper Northeast, by the way. The Northeast part of the country, they've got entire states where even though they got 45% Republicans, don't have a single Republican representative. And here is J.D. Vance being questioned by Kristen Welker about that and giving her a little what for.
President Trump's agenda is so popular. Why do Republicans need to add additional seats to the map?
Well, first of all, Chris. Well, why if the Democrats' agenda is so popular, why do they need to? Oh, they don't have one. They don't have an agenda right now.
So you have to ask yourself, why have Democrats gerrymandered their states aggressively over the past 10 to 20
to steal elections
years? If you look, for example, at the popular vote in a lot of these states and Massachusetts, where 32% of the residents of Massachusetts voted for Republicans, 0 Republican federal representatives. So we're not trying to sort of, all we're doing, frankly, is trying to make the situation a little bit more fair on a national scale. The Democrats have gerrymandered their states really aggressively. We think there are opportunities to push back against that, and that's really all we're doing.
Now that is common sense there. And the only thing that you can do with that, if you're a Democrat, is to take that common sense, flush it down the toilet, and do more fear-mongering. Here is Pete Buttigieg. He was the transportation secretary for Joe Biden. He must be transphobic because he did nothing for transportation. Here he is.
Last month, you called Republican efforts to redistrict cheating.
Yeah.
Are Democrats also cheating?
Yeah.
Well, let's be very clear about what's going on right now,
What's
which
that?
is a systematic effort to dismantle black political representation in the House of Representatives.
Don't forget, we also want to apparently send black people to the cotton fields to work again, even though machines have been harvesting cotton for well over 100 years.
Representatives.
Yeah.
What we're seeing amounts to the biggest reversal of black political power since the Voting Rights Act itself. It is wrong. It is unfair. And we never should have been here in the first place.
Nobody's votes being taken away from it at all. You just got to gerrymander districts and keep people impoverished in crime, uneducated, and really aggrieved. And that's what you've done in all these districts. It's an emancipation, this Supreme Court decision a couple weeks ago. It really, really is for America's inner cities. And Democrats are doing everything they can to scare people because of it. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hey, guys, it's Rob Carson for... How are ya? What we got here? YouTubeage, Deplorable Dinosaur, hello. Mark Wolf, great opening. Thank you. That's what she said. Hey, ho, hi, he. Hello there, Shelby Inslee. Nice to have you joining us today. All you guys over on X, thanks for watching today. Jellyfish Hunter, what's going on Facebook? Prana Yipperchut. Hope you're having a nice day. I had a very good weekend until last night, and it just kind of went to hell. But I'm doing better today. Had a glorious bike ride. Oh, my God in heaven. Dookie Bear, hey, Rob, my brother. Good to see you today. Good to see you. Jamie, Lewis, hello. What's going on? Guys, I wish you could see this ride. I had my friend. I got a friend who's my biking buddy, and she asked if I was going to get a GoPro. I'm like, no, I don't care about videotaping my bike ride. But I'd love to show you guys what I saw. It was beautiful. My God, it was beautiful. Anyway, hello, JustB123. What's up? Did anyone catch that in Texas? They are the first to have a hospital that reverses transgender children. Well, the only problem is the mutilation that's already occurred. That's the problem. Hello, Mo167. What up? What up? How are you? Truth be told, all you guys. Got a busy week. I have a big meeting on Capitol Hill on Wednesday with some other, I guess I'm an influencer. And going to meet some people over there who are a big deal. I'll just put it that way. That's all I can say. It's some people who are really big deals. I'm looking forward to meeting some people. All right, here we go. Let's do Ayanna Pressley, AOC. Oh, God. So AOC was out delivering a fiery speech this weekend, and she ended up looking like a complete moron, which is not hard to do because she's a complete moron. And she wanted to use the expression opening salvo, but she said opening silo, which is what they put grain in, by the way. And here's a little bit of her mindless speech this weekend.
It is time for the North to pull up to the South. It is time for New York to pull up to Alabama. It is
Okay, well, what does that mean?
time for all of us to come to Georgia, to Louisiana, to Tennessee, to Mississippi, and let
Yeah, they don't want your nonsense there because they have common sense, you see.
them know exactly what they have uncorked with this injustice. They think they can draw us out of power. They do not know the sleeping giant that they just awakened.
Yeah, your giant is a little gassy, by the way. Yeah, I would not want to sleep next to you, your sleeping giant, because you're full of gas.
Because it is not a coincidence, and our whole country must understand that it was not until voting rights were ratified in this country that we got the Great Society.
The Great Society, which ruined America's inner cities and destroyed the black family.
Because when black Americans have the right to vote and that vote is protected, our schools get funded.
All the schools in your gerrymandered districts are terrible, and they've sentenced generations of black kids to illiteracy and crime and poverty, you moron.
Alabama is the crucible. Georgia is the crucible. Tennessee, Louisiana, Mississippi is the crucible.
Here it comes.
So if you are not from here, it is time to pull up.
Okay.
Because what they thought was the final blow is actually just the opening silo.
Yes, it's the opening silo. It's a giant grain elevator. She meant to say opening. Well, she didn't know. She didn't mean to say it because she has no idea what opening salvo is.
If you are not from here, it is time to pull up. Because what they thought was the final blow is actually just the opening silo.
That's right. You're opening silos. We're going to pour grain on them without the silo because it's open. Oh, my God. This is your Democrat Party, and they think they're going to win the midterms. They really, really do. They really, really do. But all the ways they've cheated in the past are going away, and they have no platform at all other than just hating Donald Trump. Just hating Donald Trump. Hating Donald Trump. You know, they're mad about the reflecting pool, which is going to be beautiful. Barack Obama spent $35 billion. The day they opened it, it was filled with algae and sludge and smelled like a sewer. Okay, now it's going to be absolutely... I was down there yesterday. I'm going to share my experience with you. On the other side of the break, also influencer likes to stir it up. Caitlyn Bennett joins us next hour as well. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit ReliefFactor.com today.
most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 2 of the show on a Monday. Hope you had a glorious weekend. I did. I rode down to Mount Vernon on my new mountain bike. That was something else, man. I'm going to tell you what. That was an absolute blast. The most beautiful trail I've ever been on, I got to tell you. And I've ridden mountain bikes a lot of different states, Missouri and Maryland and all that, but nothing like what I saw yesterday. It was absolutely glorious. What a beautiful part of the country to live in. Too bad there's so much ugliness in Washington, D.C. itself. It's kind of sad. This is new from John Solomon. It looks like that Raul Castro, the leader of communist Cuba, is under indictment in America. So if Cuba falls, this son of a gun's going to go to prison.
Raul Castro going to be indicted in a federal court in the United States of America. How did we get there?
It happened with Donald Trump's crackdown at the border. It turns out that once we started enforcing the border again, we discovered that a guy named Pardo Rodriguez, who was a pilot in the Cuban Air Force and who is believed to have been involved in the incident that shot down 2 innocent American civilian humanitarian flights back in 1996.
Yeah.
One of those moments where Bill Clinton proved to be feckless, did not respond, despite a clear murder of American civilians who were just on a humanitarian mission. That's all they were doing. They got shot out of the sky. Bill Clinton didn't respond appropriately, and for years, every president would kick the
sorry about that.
Can down the road. We had overwhelming intelligence, including admissions by Fidel Castro that he and his brother ordered the shooting down of innocent Americans. But we did not.
I can't wait for the tribunal. It's going to be awesome. I absolutely love it. Somebody told me to take the AOC off the screen because you streamers are trying to eat some lunch and you don't want to look at her face. I don't blame you because she's kind of annoying. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff happening right now. It looks like Cuba's on the verge of collapse. I had a pretty cool article. Let me see if I can find it real quick about Cuba. Here we go. Time for a Nuremberg-style tribunal for communism. The Castro regime's imminent collapse exposes the deadliest lie in human history, and you've got idiots in New York who want to go back to communism because they never lived in it, because they would have died in it. As the Castro dictatorship in Cuba teeters on the brink of total collapse, massive blackouts, fuel shortages, and street protests, one thing is crystal clear: the global communist experiment is finally gasping its last breath. This, according to Drew Godfrey on Gateway Pundit. The regime in Havana, propped up for decades by lies, repression, and Western useful idiots, is facing its death throes. Protesters are ransacking Communist Party offices. Blackouts stretch for days, and the island's economy has hit rock bottom. It's the end of an era. As the dust settles, patriots and truth seekers must ask the uncomfortable question globalists have spent generations dodging: why hasn't there been a Nuremberg trial for communism? And there should be, by the way. Those weren't abstract statistics, by the way. They killed 100 million people last century, 65 million in China under Mao, 20 million in the Soviet Union, millions more in Cambodia's killing fields, North Korea, Ethiopia, Vietnam, thousands upon thousands in Cuba under Fidel and Raul Castro. These weren't abstract statistics. They were fathers, mothers, children's dissidents, Christians, farmers, and anyone who dared resist the utopian fever dream of real equality. Equality, as it turns out, was never the goal. It was a mask for the raw envy, power, lust, and the destruction of the human spirit. Communism doesn't lift up people. It drags everyone down to the lowest common denominator, while a tiny elite of party bosses live like kings, which is kind of what's been happening in the United States the last few decades. We've got an oligarchy now, and we got people like Nancy Pelosi, hundreds of millions of dollars, supposedly being a representative of the people and not doing anything while we suffer, and then they're raiding the Treasury and giving out all of our money to illegals so they can vote. It's true. It absolutely is true. There's no doubt about it. Absolutely. There's J.D. Vance. Apparently, old Gavin Newsom. He said, "Oh yeah, we're taking care. We've been going after these hospices for years. Not so much because they just shut down 800 of them. Yeah, Dr. Oz just shut down 800." Fake hospices in California. 800 in like a couple weeks. Gavin Newsom maybe shut down a couple. And guess what? He's not cooperating with J.D. Vance, who's going after corruption around the country.
Has Governor Gavin Newsom contacted you to assist you?
I think the only contact we've had with Gavin Newsom so far is him telling us that we're not allowed to stop the fraud, or in fact trying to sue us to stop the fraud. Yeah. So no, we have not had a positive relationship with Gavin Newsom on this. But Kaitlyn, I say this with all transparency. I would love for that to change. Yeah. I would love it if Gavin Newsom had a come to Jesus moment.
It's not going to happen because it's the Democrat machine is absolutely corrupt. It's an organized crime family.
You know what? I'm going to take this fraud issue seriously because we would work with them. We've said that to everybody, Democrat or Republican. We want to work with you to root out the fraud, but you've actually got to help us out. Yeah. Let me give you another crazy example.
What?
Do you know?
What?
I didn't know this until a couple of months ago, so no shame, that when your government gives out, let's say, $7 billion to California for food stamp benefits, it doesn't know a single recipient of those food stamps. Not a one. Because it's block granted to the states, and then we trust the states that they're going to police fraud themselves. We have not gotten any help from Gavin Newsom or a number of other blue states when we're trying to police to make sure that dead people don't get SNAP benefits, to make sure that these food benefits go to low-income kids. That's what they're there for, not to fraudsters. We'd love to have that.
Yeah, the Democrat Party is in its death throes, and its absolute corruption is being exposed. That's what's happening. That's what's going on. But Karen Bass has a plan. She has a plan for California and the city of L.A. She has done nothing but watch it descend into hell. There are 10,000 homes built, burned down during the Palisades fire over a year ago. 10 have been rebuilt, but she's going to give meth addicts teeth.
Also on homelessness, at the pantry earlier this week, you were talking about comprehensive health care for the unhoused. Yeah. And you talked about how
homeless people,
many of the unhoused, because of their meth use, lose their teeth.
That's right.
Who would pay for the dental care for the unhoused?
When I say comprehensive health care, it's actually what people can get from Medi-Cal. The problem is that the linkage isn't made with the people and the services.
So you mean the already corrupt Medi-Cal that was actually paying for all the hospices and stuff?
System. Well, we already pay for it. It's already paid for.
Oh, yeah, it's already paid for. Sure, you keep believing that.
It's the linkage that hasn't happened.
The reaction to that, though, was, why isn't the mayor doing more to address the meth use in the first place? What are you doing to address the drug use?
No, you're not doing the D word for Richard about it.
So we don't have to pay for dental care.
And let me just 100%. Let me just tell you that when I came in, we started, even though it is not the city's role to provide health care, it is the county. That was not enough for me. I said
Yeah, but there's still a whole lot of people dying under bridges from meth and fentanyl, but they'll have pretty teeth in that casket. You betcha. You betcha. Oh, but she's also got a plan for solar lights because the economy is so terrible there and affordability is so terrible there. They're stealing all the copper wiring for electric lights.
Going to do with a second term that you weren't able to do in the first.
Well, let me just tell you, complete many of the things I've been working on. For example, we have a terrible problem in L.A. with copper wire theft, which means our street lights go out all the time.
Maybe you haven't made it so bloody unaffordable to live there because of all the taxes and regulation. You wouldn't have to steal copper wire.
Well, about a month ago, I've rolled out a plan to install 60,000 solar lights, moving away from copper.
Great.
And we're installing a couple of hundred a month.
Yeah, you sure? They'll be just like those solar lights that you put on the pathway of your house that work for a year or two and then are absolute crap. Trust me, I've purchased them many times. You know what I'm talking about too, don't you? Those solar lights, they light the pathway to your house with these glorious solar lights, and they end up, the tops of them fall off and you hit them with your lawnmower. It's just a joke. It is just a joke. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, this is kind of funny. Venezuela extradites Maduro's bagman Alex Saab to the U.S. Shady businessman was previously pardoned by Biden. Oh, imagine that. Now may testify against Maduro. Maduro, as they like to say on television, because, all of a sudden you got to say things like you speak Spanish even when you don't. When there's a name like that, it just has to just show Maduro. So there you go. 54-year-old Colombian businessman Alex Saab, a close ally of former Venezuelan dictator Nicolás Maduro has been reportedly extradited to the U.S. less than 3 years after being pardoned by feeble Joe Biden. The deportation was considered, considering that the aforementioned Colombian citizen involved in the commission of various crimes in the United States, as is public knowledge and widely reported. And, of course, Joe Biden completely pardoned him. And one of the things they're talking about, I guess, is all the Venezuelan interference in our elections. Did you know about that? I guess they probably censored that on the mainstream media. Here is Cheryl Atkinson talking to Donald Trump about Venezuela and what the Venezuela, of all places to get your voting machines, from a communist country. Why would you go to the worst example of humanity to get your voting machines? Why would you do that?
Venezuela and voter fraud. There are Venezuelan engineer whistleblowers who have provided your administration, my understanding is, with a lot of information and documentation alleging vote rigging in the U.S. elections, including in 2020, through an operation engineered in part by our foreign adversaries and centered in Venezuela. Are you familiar with this information, and is anything going to come of that?
A little bit, and, well, I'm familiar with voter fraud because we have a lot of it, I believe, coming up on the 2020 election. The 2020 election was rigged. You know, when I used to say that, they'd say, oh, the cameras would turn off.
Yeah, they did.
No, they don't turn. The information, a lot of it's already out there. The election was rigged. It was rigged. You look at Georgia, you look at Pennsylvania, you look at these states, they were rigged. It was a rigged election. And they used COVID to do it, and they used crooked, dirty cops to do it. You know, they had dirty cops.
Wow, it's amazing, because that was disinformation a couple years ago. And I guess, you know, now we can actually say it. That's kind of weird. Like, why would they tell us that we couldn't say that? I wonder why. Oh, maybe because he's right, yeah. That's it, 100% of the time. 100%! Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. If you are on Medicare or about to be, you could be overpaying right now and never know it. Here's why. Millions of seniors are in a plan that doesn't fit their needs. Because Medicare is complicated, many brokers just steer people into plans that pay them the most. That's absurd. That is so absurd, I decided to write a little slogan for it. Medicare sure ain't fair, and choosing a plan is a bear. Pick a plan with a broker if you dare, and you might end up with a scare. Okay, listen, it's a little rough. You need to know about Chapter. They're the only national advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. With Chapter, you'll see what a plan actually costs when you need it, not just the $0 some plans advertise. Your doctors are covered and your prescriptions are too. You'll have confidence you have the coverage you need. A call with Chapter is free, takes about 20 minutes. If you're turning 65 or already on Medicare, call 27 Medicare. Again, that's 27 MEDICARE. Call 27 Medicare today.
Deported. 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 Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here! Get them out of here! Get the hell out of here!
Okay, here we go.
3, 2, 1.
Oops. I thought I had some bumper music there. I do not. I was trying to play Scott Willens, retired Lieutenant Colonel of the U.S. Army, singing at the Preakness, the national anthem. But the link is not playing the audio. So I'll go to his mom right now. Do you know who his mom is? Do you have any idea who his mom is? Deplorabella, ladies and gentlemen, on the Rob Carson Show on the Newsmax Hotline. How are you, my dear?
I am fun, and I loved watching the Preakness. That was wonderful.
Well, you sent me a link, and it didn't have any audio on it. I'm sorry. That's all right. I'm not going to blame you. I wanted to hear his glorious voice. He did sing at the Preakness, though. He did a great job, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Thank you.
You are welcome.
I called to comment about that voice of political sobriety, Kamala Harris.
Oh, my Lord.
Yes, and her no bad ideas. First of all, she wouldn't know the difference between a good and bad idea because she is cognitively incapable of discernment.
Oh, yes.
Secondly, in her comment, no bad ideas, including everything, one might say is implicit an endorsement of political violence.
Yes.
This is the woman who a few years ago told us that when it came to Antifa and BLM and their insurrections all over this country, that they shouldn't stop. They wouldn't stop.
That's true.
They should never stop. She went for the no bail policies, and she went for defunding and emasculating the police. So this is a woman who has endorsed many bad ideas. But there's another thing with Kamala. She makes me think of mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the biggest racist of all? Why, it's the Democrat Party.
Yes.
They talk about Jim Crow as though it had nothing to do with what? Democrat politics. Theirs is the party that gave us, ready, folks?
Yeah.
Slavery.
Oh, yes.
The Confederacy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jim Crow, all that. Yep. All of it.
KKK, all of that.
Yep,
all of
that's
that.
true. That's true.
And now what's happened is they simply reversed racism against blacks. It's now racism against whites.
Yeah.
But it's the same damn thing coming from these Marxists. And you know, it's interesting, Rob, that when communism first infiltrated this country, actually with Wilson, a Fabian,
yes.
Progressive,
Yeah.
a Princeton academician, the people who were pushing for communism considered themselves the elite. They were arrogant, well-spoken, even though they were lying. But look what they have degenerated into, going from Wilson to FDR to LBJ to Barack Hussein. Now we have DEI candidates like Bowser, Mayor Bow Wow in D.C., who's counting on being the next senator from that state. You've got people like Kamala Harris who think she's going to be coronated for something.
Oh, dear Lord, she's never going to be the president.
No, God, no, not of any
This is never going to be.
But you have these people who are so pathetically ignorant. And even when a couple of them, like Jasmine Crockett or that guy in Tennessee, started out with an elite education, they lapse into the dialect.
Oh, I know.
To get their street creds. And AOC did it too. It was like Hillary Clinton.
Do you want to hear? I want to play this. This is Justin Pearson before and after. I'm going to real quick here.
Justin J. Pearson, and I'm running for president of PSG. There are a few reasons that we're running this campaign this year. One has to do with representation. How can we represent all voices in a conversation?
He was trying for a class president at his at his university, and here he is just last week.
Mass incarceration denied us of who we are, and we are still here. And today, you will take the only majority black district from us. But I want you to know, and I want my nephew, sons, and the future to know.
I got to tell you, he's a clown, and the only thing that would make him more clownish is to color his fro multicolors like they do clowns in the circus.
Right, but Rob, you have to understand me, Rob. It's politics about 10%, and if I can't get it the legitimate way, I will take it. I will carry on. I will scream and
Now let me ask you this: when you go to synagogue, do you suddenly talk like this? It's like, "Hello, I am so Jewish. Oh my God!" Do you do that?
No, I never do that. I would never put on a New York or a Jewish accent. Unless I was in a deli ordering a sandwich on
There you go. There you go. All right.
Oh, it's pathetic. It is pathetic, these people. But here's one other little fact for you Dems out there. Blacks can vote. Blacks can run, and blacks can be elected.
Yeah.
What they can no longer do is be guaranteed a seat. Welcome to the new America, where the civil rights laws and voting rights laws are finally being interpreted as they were intended, to be non-racist.
Yeah, but the thing is, how could you, as a black person, elect a white man, Steve Cohen, for 20 years and it not be racist? In that case, it's not racist.
I know. Well, the only way that white men like Schumer, who I think is on his way out anyway, or white women like Spanberger can get into this DEI club, this sealed club in which their white skin marks them with the original sin, is by being more left than the left.
Yeah.
So they are the most Jacobin. They are the most bloodthirsty. They are the most insane. And then, of course, I can't let this go without mentioning Hakeem Jeffries, that mental midget from New York, who referred not only to maximum warfare, but now says he will crush our souls. Well, you know what, Hakeem? Yes, he just said that. There's no danger of retaliation because you guys don't have souls.
No, this is ridiculous, actually. By the way, I went down to the Rededication 250, the Day of Faith on the National Mall this weekend, and it was, my God, it was so beautiful. And I just saw a couple of these caterwauling leftists who don't believe in God yelling in their bullhorn. And you know what we did? Everybody did. They just ignored them, and they actually ended up going away.
Good. And people should remember that when the original Fabian communists in England went to the Soviet Union, people like H.G. Wells, the intellectuals of their time, they said, we have seen the future and it works, which shows you how willfully blind they were. And another one said, use the gassing if you need to. Kill off the people who stand in the way. And this is the coercion which even people like Gramsci, who said use gradualism, were prepared to use. And this is what the Democrats are now prepared.
You know what? You just, and I just looked at this. We got to run here pretty quick. We will beat them and then we'll crush their souls. That is foul. That is evil. To say that of people of faith, you will never crush our souls. You cannot. It's not possible. It is not possible to take our faith away from me. What an outrageous thing to say.
Because they underestimate the Judeo-Christian legacy to which we cling. It is what gives us agency, is what gives us free will. It is what gives us an ethical grounding in Western civilization.
Yeah.
And they share none of that with us.
No, they don't. Listen, we got to run. Deplorabella, thanks for giving me the heads up. I cannot believe that he said, we will beat them and then we'll crush their souls. Yep. That is Hakeem Jeffries. You B-word. How dare you say such an outrageous thing to people of faith? How dare you? There's no one, even Satan himself, cannot crush our souls. How ridiculous for you to say that. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson for GhostBed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire Life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a GhostBed. GhostBed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately. My first night on a GhostBed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about GhostBed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. GhostBed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime.
Rent-free in libs' heads I'm living. The fits I am giving to Whoopi, Sunny, and Joy. Rent-free I'm occupying. Rosie is lying if she says I'm not in her head. Break free, they simply can't do it. When you get down to it, they have TDS real bad. Hatred, just watch it as it spreads, because inside their heads I live.
So many people living with everyday pain think they're just stuck with it, and it is what it is. But it doesn't have to be. Let me tell you about George from Oregon and his Relief Factor story. George is a hardworking guy, spends 10 hours a day in his garbage truck. It's a tough job, made even harder because he was dealing with sore right knee that he couldn't bend. But here's the amazing part. George started taking Relief Factor, and it changed his life. He said, and I quote, "I can bend my knee again with very little pain." If you're living with aches and pains, see how Relief Factor, a daily drug-free supplement, could help you feel and live better every day. Give their 3-week quick start a try, only $19.95 in a few weeks or even days. Feel the difference Relief Factor can make. You don't have to be stuck living with pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. That's ReliefFactor.com or 800-4RELIEF.
Who would not want voter ID? Only somebody that wants to cheat.
Is what she is, a mouthy little.
I like your lipstick.
Mad
for your fucking clicks.
I don't like anything about you.
Make out, not war. Okay, what is your sign? What is your sign? Says make out, not war. Who's making out with you today?
Have you ever heard of Code Pink?
Absolutely.
There you go. That is a little bit of Caitlyn Bennett. One of her best of, bitch, I should say that. She is founder of Liberty Hangout, and she joins us on the Newsmax hotline. Hello, Kaitlin. How you been, Trouble?
I've been doing well. How are you?
I'm glorious. Where have you been hanging out these days?
Still in Florida.
Still in Florida, okay.
In the free state of Florida.
Oh, yeah, well, it is now anyway. How are things going in Florida? I've said that the left is becoming more unhinged the more they lose the ability to cheat with gerrymandering and whatnot, and I think that they're going to get violent, to be quite honest. Have you noticed any of that?
Well, I know that here in Florida and at the Capitol, they did a sit-in, and I think 3 of them got arrested for trying to sit in to protest the new redistricting that passed in the state of Florida, which I'm so happy about. And so I see that everywhere, that, demand that the police release them, and it's like, you genuinely did break the law. And so you can't just sit in and take over a building, which I thought that was a resurrection, and that was, trying to overturn election results. So I guess they can do it, but we can't.
Yeah, and you're not in a position to demand anything. That's what I like to say to people who demand things, particularly like students on campus. We demand that you divest in, Israel or whatever. You're not in a position to demand a damn thing. Get your rear end back to your classes is what I like to say. But what are you? What are the top things that obviously gerrymandering is the thing they're really butthurt about. What else have you been? I saw the other day you were on. I think we were on a campus and they had put up a border to keep you from being there, and you challenged this kid on the fact that you had built a border and you want open borders, and you got nothing but silence from this guy. And I thought his head was going to explode. You said your eye is twitching. I saw that one, I think, like 2 weeks ago.
Yes, so I went to UCF, University of Central Florida, and they were having a protest on campus to demand, as you just said, demand that campus become a sanctuary campus for illegal aliens.
Yes.
And when I got there, they tried to tell me that I couldn't be in their reserved space. And he literally pointed out the borders in which they did not want me to enter onto certain land. And when I said, wow, it sounds like you're trying to control who's coming in and out, his lips started quivering.
I know.
He was wearing a dress. And so, he was just shaking in his dress. And that clip went so viral.
Oh, my gosh.
It has 1.3 million likes.
Wow.
And that's just on Instagram. And then on other platforms, there's probably a combined total of 40 million views. And so I do pray for his mental health that he ditches the dresses and he's okay after this.
I had to laugh, and he was, and you played it so stinking cool. And I don't know how you do it, girl, because I confronted some leftists here in a place called Old Town Alexandria. And they were down there, and this one girl literally was, there's 2 adults there, like in her 40s, and then these kids from college or whatever, high school. The girl is talking about boots out of Iran, and all this nonsense, and she has a ring pop. She's sucking on a ring pop, for God's sake. And so I said to her, "You're a freaking child." And then I said to the adults, I said, "You should know better." And oh my God, and the applause I got from the crowd.
Yes. It's funny. I've seen protesters out here, teenagers with SpongeBob tattoos.
Oh.
And I'm like, we can't take you seriously. You need to go get that removed and go back, take a nap and rethink your life.
I maybe have a little cookies, a little bit of animal crackers, and some chocolate milk. Really, and like I said, I shame stormed the adults. And I'm like, did you drive the short bus down here to get these kids to do this? And this guy just looked at me, and I'm not formidable, but I'm a pretty big. I'm 6'1", about 245, and he just looked at me and I'm just laughing at him. And then, what's interesting? You challenge them, and this is what you do very well. Generally, what happens when you challenge them?
Generally, what happens is either one of two things. They either grab my microphone and try to, like, push me out of the way, or the least, like, there's two things. That one is more common. The thing that's least common is what that guy actually did, is just sit there and say nothing. And it was really impressive just how he literally had nothing to say. That is probably the smartest thing that he could have done.
Yeah.
And all the other people I interact with should take notes from him to just say nothing.
Well, a lot of the times what I notice is that you will, no matter who's challenging somebody on the left, you'll say, well, how is he a king, like Donald Trump? How is he a king? Well, if you need to ask that question, then I am not going to talk to you. I'm like, well, wait, that doesn't make any sense. They do that, right? They say, if you need to ask that question, or there are so many things, I can't list them all right now. And you're like, just give me one. And then they shut you down, right?
Yes, exactly. And they don't want to answer. They're like, well, it's not my job to educate you. And it's like, there's a camera, and I'm holding a microphone up to you. Free audience to your cause right now. You could change a whole bunch of people's minds.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they just don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I went down to the Rededication 250 this weekend in Washington, D.C., and I was so grateful to do that, Kaitlin. And, one of the things that, I know about you is that you were not a person of faith until not too long ago. You were actually a non-believer. And I got to tell you, Kaitlin, I've said that we have to overwhelm the left with joy, with patriotism, and with faith. And when you do those things, they shrivel up like vampires getting holy water splashed on them, don't they?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Absolutely. That event looked so cool. I saw Bishop Barron was there. I follow him online. And so that whole thing looked so beautiful, like just a joyful event. So I'm glad that you got to go and experience that.
I'll just be honest. I wept with joy because the speakers were so good, and you didn't even know people, and they were holding hands and celebrating and not afraid to say one nation under God, and having the Marine band singing God Bless America unashamedly. And then on the street corner you'd see some jackweed with a bullhorn saying Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. I'm like, shut up.
I guarantee you, Rob, if you looked into that protester's background, he probably has some things against him of some weird sex stuff that he's been charged with. It's always the same. Always the same. The people who are the loudest accusing others of being pedophiles and rapists, they always end up, that is who they are.
Well, it's like these televangelists who get caught, doing prostitutes. They preach it real well. Eric Swallowswell, he said, we got to believe all women, and turns out he's drugging and raping them. Have you noticed he's completely gone now? He's not defending himself. Well, if he's innocent,
what is there to defend? Hopefully charges are going to be brought against him.
Oh, my Lord.
It's one thing to shoo these people out of office in public life, but someone like him has to be held accountable, no matter who you are.
Now, on the other side of the break, if you hold, Caitlyn Bennett, founder of Liberty Hangout, I want to talk about the, guess what, liberal speakers at college graduations outnumbered conservatives 6-1. I'm going to talk about that on the other side of the break, and also some really good news about religion gaining ground in America. Does that sound cool?
Sounds awesome.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Rob.
know that you've been forced off public property too many times to count. In fact, you were recently booted from an event promoting sanctuary schools at the University of Central California. Let's watch.
We need y'all to get out of here with your sign.
What do you mean? Oh, you have borders on this campus.
No, we have this space reserved as an official event.
Yeah, so you have borders. Where's your borders at?
This whole green area right here.
Oh, so you want to control who comes in and out. Like an ICE agent or a border patrol agent. You wouldn't dare act like a fascist, would you? I would really encourage you on a rally on a campus. This is an event for sanctuary campuses. You probably shouldn't act like a fascist border patrol agent. You should take down your borders and let whoever wants on the space, okay?
Oh, there you go. And his eyes twitching. That is Kaitlin on Newsmax 2 the other day with David Harris. That, again, legendary. You said how many? 40 million views, something like that? What is that, Caitlyn Bennett?
Yeah, something around 40 million views between two platforms. Poor guy.
Oh.
He's doing okay.
You know, I don't know how you do it. You're like, have you ever seen Silence of the Lambs? He's like, his heart rate never went above 60, and you're kind of like that. Not meaning to compare you to Hannibal the Cannibal, but I mean, and you've gotten better at it. I mean, because you've always been a cool cucumber, right? But now you're even better at it. And this guy, he was an armadillo on the highway on his back.
I literally just have too much fun. And the older I get, and the more, I have to interact with toddlers of my own, own toddlers.
Yes.
The more I can interact with the toddlers who are out on these campuses and at these protests. So sometimes I have to talk to them as the same way I would talk to my toddlers and break it down real simple for them.
Oh my God, I love it. And I think we're winning, Kaitlin. I believe we're in the throes of a battle between good and evil. Evil had really run roughshod over our country and the world, and I think we've got it on its heels. But they are fighting back. A growing number of Americans say religion gaining influence in society. 37% of Americans now say it is gaining influence, while 61% say it's losing influence. This is a dramatic fall in those sentiments, by the way, over the last few years. And so I don't know if it's necessarily religion per se, but I think it's faith. I think faith is making a comeback because, particularly with Gen Z, you guys had everything taken away from you. And you're beginning to realize that maybe there's something bigger than the state or bigger than, whatever happening.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I also think you have to look at what the younger generation went through in such a short amount of time. Yes. We have, 1 in 8 women is on some type of SSRI, which is like the antidepressant drug. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason for that. It's because when our culture has tried to separate faith and religion and God from who we are as people, your life has no meaning. It's really hard to grasp onto something and find something worth living for.
Yeah.
And so when you replace faith and God and Jesus Christ in your life with things like, entertainment or worldly pleasures or money or followers and stuff, you're going to end up really unhappy.
Yeah.
And you might be happy for a little bit, but it's not going to last. And so as that younger generation that just had everything flipped upside down, especially women who have been told that, we need to sacrifice our children for ourselves, whereas, Jesus Christ says, this is my body given up for you, and I will die for your sins. Women have been told tell their children that their children have to die via abortion for their mother's sins. And so when that is the language that's being told, especially to women, it's going to strip them of the identity that they really need to root themselves in, which is their identity in Jesus Christ. And so eventually that is unsustainable. And naturally people will figure it out. And I think they are figuring out because it's unsustainable and people can't be happy that way.
I find myself that, I went through a lot of things over the last couple of years. I got sober 5 years ago, turned my life around, and then my wife decides the day after the election in 2024 she wanted a divorce. And I feel, do you ever feel like good and evil are tugging at you, that evil's kind of tugging at you a little bit? because I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Knock it off. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving God for God's. I'm not. And I don't mean to make this into, I'm not trying to proselytize, but you can feel it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there was a time, when we talk about the change in the generation and what the younger generation went through, the first time I was ever mobbed on a college campus, I remember just being surrounded by this angry mob. They literally looked like they were being influenced by demons. And I turned around when someone was like, "Oh, but you said we're going to go to hell." And I'm like, "I don't believe in hell. I don't believe in God." And like the twinkle in their eye.
I know.
Well,
when they celebrated Charlie Kirk's death, like demons, and then Hakeem Jeffries says, "We will beat them, and then we'll crush their souls." Can you believe that a political leader would say such a thing?
I do believe it. Yes, I do believe it, especially on the Democratic side. There's nothing that they can say or do that will shock me.
You can't crush our souls. If Satan can't crush our souls, how in the hell is Hakeem damn Jeffries going to crush our souls? I mean, what an a-hole-ish thing to say. What a completely
very prideful,
just awful. I mean, no, it's satanic. I mean, it really is. It's satanic. Anyway, Caitlyn Bennett, always great to watch you make liberals' eyes twitch. Oh my God, so good. Where can people find all your glorious work?
On YouTube at Liberty Hangout. That is where all of my long-form content is.
You're fantastic. Have a glorious day, and God bless you and your family. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. We will beat them and
here's a real-life story that affects 50% of all of us out there. It's called divorce. If you've gotten divorced and now you're struggling to pay your bills and your credit card debts are completely out of control, you need to call this special debt relief hotline right now. We help people with all kinds of money problems caused by different life challenges, a divorce, a job loss, even heavy medical bills. All these life events can sometimes financially stress you out and cause you to get out of control. We help people get their lives back by showing them ways to
includes the 401k extra,
I apologize.
income analyzer.
Crush their souls. What an awful thing to say. What an awful thing to say.
$2,500 value. And it's
Jack Wad says, is this a new comedy show? No, it's been around a while. I've been writing comedy for a very long time.
Congratulations.
Since about 1989.
Now,
on the radio and on television for about 6 years. So there's that.
Hi,
proud to be a Jew. Hi, Beck Uttenberry. What's going on? You know what? They're going to keep throwing stuff at us. They're going to keep throwing stuff at us. And the most important thing is we got to keep our chins up and focus on good, overwhelm them with joy and patriotism and faith. It's working. Sorry, I had to post that.
3.5 here.
I love me some Caitlyn Bennett. She's an amazing person. Just wonderful. Dang, what a great conversation. What a terrific conversation with Gen Zer. Crush their souls. Democrats ditch their niceties after GOP gains upper hand on redistricting. That Hakeem Jeffries would say that we're going to crush their souls to us is so demonic. It's so demonic. I'm looking at a picture of on Politico. There's this spiral staircase in the annex to the Capitol that I saw him on, actually, a couple of months back. And what an evil thing to say. Ruthless partisan tactics are in. Guess what? They've been ruthless for a decade. High-minded appeals to good government are out. Ruthless partisan tactics are in. That's according to Politico. After Hakeem Jeffries says, we're going to beat them and crush our souls. I mean, movie vampires, right? Didn't I tell you? They die like movie vampires. The Democrat Party dies like movie vampires. That's what we're witnessing. We're witnessing. And I told you it's going to get bigger. It's going to get louder. It's going to get more violent. It's just the way they're doing it, man. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. I got some good news. How about some good news? And everybody likes the good news because you get to hear your favorite jingle.
We love to win. Winning, so much winning. It's lots of winning.
Lots of winning. It's so good. Oh, yeah, listen to the good news coming out of Washington, D.C., where Donald Trump brought in the National Guard.
Oh, sorry. Here we go. We have Janine Pirro speaking now.
Since the launch of the coordinated operations on August 7th of 2025, this engagement has become one of, if not the largest, modern joint law enforcement collaboration in history.
Awesome.
The results have been undeniable.
What was that?
Almost 13,000 arrests, including homicide suspects, gang members, narcotics trespassers, fugitives.
They're indicting several ex-police officials because they lied about the crime stats before Donald Trump was the president.
Weapons offenders, almost 1,500 illegal firearms taken off the streets that then can't be used to intimidate and kill fellow citizens. And most importantly, violent crime is now down dramatically.
Wow.
Homicides are down almost 50%, robberies down 42%, carjackings are down 60%.
What?
Those numbers represent lives saved, families protected, businesses able to function safely, and neighborhoods that are beginning to reclaim peace and tranquility.
Meanwhile, the Democrat Party is really mad because Donald Trump's making the reflecting pool great again and building a ballroom that Democrats and Republicans have wanted for 100 years. So there's that. Honestly. Washington, D.C. has changed so dramatically, even since I moved here just shy of 10 months ago. It is absolutely remarkable, and it is clean, and they're doing the same thing to Memphis. The same thing happened in Memphis, and the only thing stopping from Chicago from being like this or East St. Louis is Democrats once again standing in the schoolhouse doors to keep people in poverty, in crime, and dependence and grievance. That's it. You're witnessing the death of the Democrat Party. Enjoy it. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit ReliefFactor.com today.
now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. I hope you had a glorious weekend. I had a glorious weekend. And we got a lot of stuff to cover before the end of the show here. Big pro-freedom, anti-Islamist protests in Great Britain. The biggest ever, led by Tommy Robinson. Keir Starmer is on his way out, and we're going to talk to Hilary Fordwich about that at the bottom of the hour. U.S. rejects latest Iranian peace deal. Official warns next conversation is through bombs. And that's the way it's going to have to be. And I think it's great, actually, because the hubris and the arrogance of the Iranian regime is going to cause their domain, or their demise, I should say. Same goes with Cuba. That's going to fall next. And in case you didn't notice, the cardboard Ayatollah has not been seen in months. They say that his face is gone or something, and they're transplanting lips on his face. I have no idea, but I'll just kick off this segment with this from Jim Gossett about the Ayatollah.
Khomeini, where are you? Could it be true that you've completely vanished?
Yeah.
You've become a ghost, maybe you're toast. Perhaps you have been banished. Are you underground?
Oh.
You can't be found. Hey, that's not my department. Can't get you on the phone. Are you alone? Or in some guy's apartment? A leader Iran needs, but Khomeini, not one person has seen you. What else is new?
No.
Are you in hiding, or did someone stage a palace coup?
I think he's dead.
Against you.
Yeah, you know.
Haven't seen a hide nor hair. We aren't aware of your current location. Is Mojtaba gone? Maybe he's on a permanent vacation.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny because they say that you get 72 virgins, you know, when you die and you martyr yourself in radical Islam, which is, you know, of course, absurd. But you know, you think about that. Once the virginity is gone, then you're going to be spending an eternity with 72 women telling you what to do. It's you know, do you really want to spend eternity with 72 women telling you what to do and giving you a list of things to do every single day? It's like, you know, listen, we got to do the sighting on the side of the mud hut over here, you know, whatever. Can I just rest for once? Hey, man, you wanted 72 virgins. You left the virginity about 1,000 years ago, so guess what? Now we're just going to ride your butt about doing stuff. I think that'd be great. I think that'd be fantastic. I'm not saying all women are that way, just when you get married. Actually, I didn't mind it. I like doing a project. You know, it's interesting. I had some friends over at the apartment, and they can't believe the apartment that I made, because I had this apartment, and you know what? You watch 25 years of HGTV, and you fix up 4 houses. You can do some crazy cool stuff with the apartment. And so these people are like, "What? You've got a hanging pot rack? My apartment doesn't have a hanging pot rack." I said, "Well, because I got a hanging pot rack and I hung it." "Well, you did it without wiring." "Well, yeah, you could do these LEDs that are recharged." "Oh my God, I didn't think about that. My apartment's so dark." And I put up LED lights on the walls, and I put up a spice rack for all the, you know, because the lack of the cabinet space, and I put floating shelves in there. And then the stove sucked, so I moved the stove into storage because it's one of those old coil electric stoves. Dear God, throw it in the garbage. And I went to Home Depot and I got an open box electric stove, you know, because and they're like, "What do we do?" See, this is the thing. There are some benefits. There are some benefits, and I, you know, I'm going to tell you, I'm the only person in the apartment complex that I live in that has a full complement of electric power tools, an entire 2 toolboxes in my closet, and a stand-up freezer. And I'm the only one. You know, it's good to have life experience like that. You know. That said, we're talking about the Ayatollah. The Ayatollah. John Fetterman is it's interesting because he's the only person in the Democrat Party saying that we should have taken out the Ayatollah because the Democrat Party wants to do everything against Donald Trump. I don't know if you heard about this, but in Afghanistan, where Joe Biden pulled us out and left the Taliban to rise, now they've completely released all of the rules on child marriage, so you can be like an 18-month-old girl can get married to some creepy old Taliban member, and and I'm not going to complete what happens then. But these people are animals. That said, but Donald Trump finally came in here and he said, you know what? We're tired of 47 years of terror. We're tired of these terrorist proxies. Democrats have been caterwauling about it since day one. Chris Murphy saying that it was a disaster and that the Iran is now 4 times stronger than it was before. Sure, keep telling yourself that. And here is John Fetterman talking yesterday with Maria Bartiromo. Honestly, this is why the Democrat Party is dying, all right? And this guy will survive somehow. Maybe he'll help lead the common sense. Not all of his things are common sense, but at least fairly reasonable on some things wing of the Democrat Party.
I mean, I wouldn't say that it's hard, but I mean, I think in a sense that it's freeing. I mean, as a Democrat, but when I'm confronted by things that I happen to agree, I'm going to vote for that, or I'm going to support those kinds of a thing. The Iran situation right now, I'm very much aware how damaging it is as a Democrat to vote with the president or vote through this kinds of thing. And this the 7th time that I've done that, because I fundamentally believe that Iran should never acquire a nuclear bomb. And that used to be what all of every single Democrats held that view as well too. This isn't a crazy idea. This used to be the thing that we all used to agree.
No, Democrats are literally like cheering that they get a nuclear bomb, and then if they launch a nuclear bomb on the tip of a missile, they can blame Donald Trump. You didn't get the nuclear program taken care of. The Democrats are just so broken, so broken. Hillary and Kamala, remember Kamala a couple of years ago? She said the biggest threat to the entire world was Iran.
When President Trump confronted that, and that puts us in the cusp, I'm never going to vote to say, yeah, let's walk away. Let's abandon that right now. And now when someone says, like Trump says, I really think about that Iran can never acquire a nuclear bomb. Okay, that's the space where I'm in right now. Yeah. That's why we're here. That's why we showed up. That's why whether Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris in the Democratic Party always put military kinds of actions right there on the table. They've been very clear.
Yeah, and then there's also this. This is Democrat. I know it's hard to believe. It's the only Democrat. This man is the only Democrat right now in Washington, D.C. saying things like this.
America's the good guy. Iran is the bad guy. I mean, of course.
We're raised a slave nation.
Nobody likes to see gas.
GOP wants to put black people back picking cotton, even though it's been picked by combines for 100 years.
At this prices right now. I blame Iran. I don't blame Iran. I don't blame the administration, because I happen to agree as a Democrat that we should make sure that Iran can't build a nuclear bomb.
You're saying you blame Iran.
Oh, my God. And, I blame Iran because Iran is an evil regime. For the last almost 5 decades, they've been
but Trump is Hitler and a fascist and a white supremacist.
World's leading underwriter of terrorism. They were behind 10/7. They've empowered Hezbollah and Hamas. Yes, I blame Iran for that. Wow. I blame why they just don't hold over all of their nuclear materials, and they'll make sure that that's not going to build a nuclear bomb. Then everything works out. So that's why I blame Iran at this circumstances. Wow. I certainly don't blame America to hold this regime accountable.
Wow, wow, that is very uncommon. Here's Chris Van Hollen. He says that we should double down on Obama's failed policies where he sent pallets of cash and they spent it on their nuclear program, among other things.
Do you think diplomacy could actually bring about another Iran nuclear deal at this point, Senator?
Well, I know if we had people who were willing to negotiate, we could get it done, because we got that done.
We're negotiating on more than a month with the ceasefire, you moron.
Obama was in office. We had the JCPOA. The JCPOA prevented Iran from getting...
Should have been called the JCPOS.
...nuclear weapon. It dramatically contained its nuclear enrichment program, and it had the world's most intense inspection regime.
Oh, yeah.
So that if they cheated, we could catch them like that.
Oh, my God. Neville Chamberlain's ghost is possessing your putrid little brain. My God. How stupid. I mean, honestly, how just absurdly stupid. Here is John Fetterman, because the Democrats, while Donald Trump is beating Iran and, we're getting rid of the terror threat that that's been shadowing the entire world for 47 years, they're focused on what?
Like the reflecting pool in the ballroom.
Yeah.
I don't care about those things. I think it's entirely appropriate.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've seen a picture, assuming that it's not AI. So far the reflecting pool looks good.
I saw it.
But if that's $13 million, that's
who cares?
That's small. I think President Obama correctly, he invested $34 million to make some upgrades. I mean, America's turning 50 years old. Why wouldn't we want to make sure everything looking great? Right. And now we do need a ballroom. We do. I mean, I think we have much bigger fish to fry. So I'm saying build it or not, and that's where I'm at.
Yeah, here's a CNN panelist actually having the audacity to say nobody gives a crap about the ballroom.
Well, I think part of it is he's got a low blood pressure. He's not really fazed by anything. We've seen that through his entire career. And so it's not a huge surprise to me that, he'll be going through these really high-level things and be thinking about, wait a sec, what about that ballroom? For me, I just can't get the outrage, because he's not even going to enjoy it. It's going to be done in September of 2028 when he's almost out the door. Yeah. And so when you see Democrats acting like this is the end of democracy, to me, it just feels like focusing on the wrong things here. And we talked about
somebody's focusing on the wrong thing for sure.
Exactly.
But it ain't Democrats.
Oh, God, it is. Yeah, it 1 billion% is. Without a doubt. I mean, without a doubt. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. For 250 years, Americans... Hey, guys, it's Carson. You know my signature phrase, don't catch the stupid. When it comes to Medicare, that's easier said than done. Medicare is overly complex, with thousands of plans, hidden gotchas in the fine print, and rules nobody really explains to you. Many people just pick something and hope for the best. That's why you need to know about Chapter. They're the only advisor that looks at every plan in the country, matches your doctors, your prescriptions, and your situation to a plan that fits your needs. When your call with Chapter is done, you know your doctors are covered. Your prescriptions are matched, and you go from, I hope I did this right, to, I know I did. That, my friends, is peace of mind. A call with Chapter is free for my audience, and there's no pressure to sign up. Call Chapter today. Here's the number, 27 Medicare. That's 27 MEDICARE. 27 Medicare for Chapter. No pressure. What's your excuse? Call 27 Medicare and don't catch the stupid yourself. Call 27 Medicare today.
a minute to run for mayor. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air.
Spencer Pratt, new video. Oh, fantastic.
In West Los Angeles, Palisades, my backyard is where I spend most of my days. Feeding hummingbirds, relaxing all cool, avoiding all the bums outside of the school. When a couple politicians who were up to no good started making trouble in my neighborhood, I got in one little fire, my mom got scared and said, "You're moving in with Harvey Levin in Bel Air."
Oh my God, this is fantastic. That is just fantastic. But Spencer Pratt is just kicking butt, and they don't even know which way is up. Karen Bass and Top Ramen over there, they have no idea. I hope that I hope they get keelhauled by this guy, and I hope they get Steve Hilton as the governor of the state. It's remarkable. His stuff is so good. It's so good. I've been talking to local politicians. I'll just say somebody running for governor in the state of Maryland. I'm like, dude, take a cue from Spencer Pratt. Do it. Go after the fraud and the whatnot in Maryland. Do it. Take a cue from Spencer Pratt. You will be the next governor. Like I have any say in this, But I got good instincts. I got good instincts. Gosh darn it. Donald Trump on Truth, good riddance after 15 years of Democrats promising climate change is going to destroy the planet. The United Nations top climate committee just admitted its own projections were wrong. Wrong. Far too long, climate activism has been used by Democrats to scare Americans. Push horrible energy policies and fund billions into their bogus research programs, unlike the Democrats who use climate alarmism nonsense to push their Green New scam. My administration will always be based in truth, science, and fact. Isn't that cool? Here's the Prezi talking about the climate change scan a while back.
But we're not letting this happen in America. In 1982, the executive director of the United Nations Environmental Program predicted that by the year 2000, climate change would cause a global...
This is the president, I believe, at the United Nations.
...catastrophe.
Yeah.
He said that it will be irreversible, as any nuclear holocaust would be.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they said at the United Nations. What happened? Here we are. Another UN official stated in 1989 that within a decade, entire nations could be wiped off the map by global warming.
Isn't it amazing what happens when time catches up and you realize the promises they made were a complete scam? This is a guy named Guy McPherson, okay? 10 years ago. Okay, 10 years ago, 2016, listen.
We are heading for mass extinction. There you go. That's it. End it there. As humans destroy our own habitat. That is the no-holes-barred message from climate change expert Guy McPherson from the University of Arizona. Last time I spoke to you, 2014, and you sort of, snatched any hope of a future from me and my family. It was doom and gloom. Has anything changed since then in your account of things?
Oh, yes. The situation is far worse than it was then.
Okay. How much time does the human race have?
I can't imagine there will be a human on the planet in 10 years.
Okay, let's see. That's 2016. Oh, my God, it's 10 years. It's 10 years right now, 10 years. I saw some people today. That's so weird. I saw a whole bunch of people this weekend.
I suspect it'll be...
No, I'm sorry.
In fact, there are more people now than there were then.
Did you say 10 years?
Yes, in my out loud voice even. Yes, I can't...
This is a bigger, dumber thing than even Joe Scarborough saying that Joe Biden was at the top of his mental game.
For a temperature within that span that is at or near the highest temperature experienced on Earth in the last 2 billion years. That's at least...
Well, how do you know that? Because there are no core samples that would show 2 billion years ago. You moron.
It's an order of magnitude faster than occurred during the Great Dying 252 million
But you are suggesting then that the temperature increase will be phenomenal over the next few years.
Oh, yes. Yeah, this is exponential change, and we have difficulty coming to grips with exponential.
He should be ashamed to show his face in public, but I'm sure he has no shame. That was 10 years ago. Did you see anybody this weekend? Did you? I mean, it's going to be a little bit warm today here in the Northeast, a little bit, about 90 degrees. Not unheard of unless you're a local official who's saying, you need to go to the cooling centers because apparently nobody's ever had a hot day before. And so you got to go to a cooling center and get a thing. It's called a fan, F-A-N, a fan. Did you know about these things? Did you hear about these things? And air conditioning. You're making fun of poor people. No, I'm not. No. It's just every time there's a hot day and they're all freaking out, they got cooling centers like you've never had a hot day. How in the hell did our ancestors survive? My God, it's just crazy. Yeah, but it's a bunch of crap. It's all just a gigantic bunch of crap. The climate change nonsense. And isn't it fun to watch it just collapse on itself? It just makes me so happy. It really does. Todd Blanche, he's our acting AG of the entire country. And not only did he say there's plenty of evidence that 2020, the election was stolen. He said it. But also hell is coming with regard to Russiagate.
We're finding out some incredibly troubling things. And at some point at the right time, that will be made public. And the American people will see exactly what happened to this administration and President Trump over the past decade.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, as has been publicly reported, the Southern District of Florida has an open criminal investigation. That involves hundreds of subpoenas. It involves hundreds of witnesses. And so as far as timing and when we can expect it, we are working hard and we are working efficiently, but we are going to do it right. We are not going to rush something that isn't ready. We're not going to reach a conclusion before our investigation is over. But I assure you, and I assure the American people, that we are completely focused on it.
This is the hell that we were hoping was coming. This is the feces meeting the fan, finally. Supply constraints on commodities cause prices to surge. You saw it with the fuel prices with the Strait of Hormuz and all that nice. But right now, gold is also a commodity, and once gold is out of the ground and sold, you got to dig some more. And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes the supply gets reduced and the price goes up. If you've been thinking about gold for years but have never moved some of your worthless savings, by the way, worthless savings, it's not doing anything for you, just laying there like Joe Biden on a lawn chair. Why don't you convert it into physical gold? Birch Gold is the group that I trust. They have my money. Now through May 28th, Birch Gold giving you first-time gold buyers a rebate up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. What? Yeah. $10,000. For details and free information on diversifying into gold, text ROB to the number 989898. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. Text ROB to the number 989898 to see if you qualify for a first-time gold buyer rebate up to $10,000. There was a game show called $10,000 Pyramid. Remember that? I mean, can you believe this? This is crazy. Again, text Rob to 989898 today. Let's take a break and come back. Hilary Fordwich on massive protests for freedom against radical Islam in Great Britain. On the other side of the break, don't go anywhere. For 250 years, Americans have believed in one powerful idea, that we were meant to live free to work hard, free to move, free to enjoy life without being held back. But if everyday aches and pains are slowing you down, might be time to declare your independence from pain. I did with Relief Factor. That's how I'm able to crush it at the gym every day. Thank you very much. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free, research-based formula designed to help your body fight inflammation, one of the root causes of pain. It's not a quick fix or a temporary mask. It works from the inside out, at the source. Relief Factor was created so people could get back to living life on their terms, walking, working, exercising, and enjoying the moments that matter. This year, as we celebrate 250 years of American independence, take a stand for your own freedom. Declare your independence from pain. Try Relief Factor today for just $19.95. Your 3-week quick start is ready for you. Visit relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. Hey guys, it's Carson for GhostBed. I am sleeping better than I've ever slept in my entire life. I used to think a mattress was just furniture, but I got a GhostBed. GhostBed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks. Your body should be healing while you sleep, not fighting for comfort. I noticed immediately. My first night on a GhostBed, I slept for 10 hours. If you're waking up stiff, tossing and turning, sleeping hot, even reaching for a pain reliever before bed, hoping tonight will be different, that's not aging. That's your mattress talking. Here's another thing I love about GhostBed. You get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't like the difference, just send it back risk-free. GhostBed is currently having their Memorial Day sale plus an extra 10% off for my audience. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson and use promo code Carson. Ghostbed.com/Carson. Promo code Carson for the sleep of a lifetime.
Two girls that Swalwell groped before. They say there's 50, maybe more. It's a sordid tale. Eric should be in jail for all the girls he groped before. It finally forced his resignation. He left the Congress in disgrace. And now we have an explanation why female staffers carried mace. To all the girls that he attacked, and to the women who fought back, Swalwell needs to pay. Arrest Eric today for all the girls that he attacked. To all the years that he should serve, a prison stay he does deserve.
Poor little Democrats. Are you guys okay today? I came in to check on you. Every time Trump does something good, you guys spaz out. Would you guys shut up and let him work?
That is the Rob Carson Show. Did you watch Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano over the weekend? The fight lasted 17 seconds. Yeah, it lasted 17 seconds. I don't even know. You pay tickets. I would assume there's some sort of a ticket before that fight. But that said, this is the sound of London over the weekend on Saturday. Actually, 3 women taking off their burqas. Massive protests across Great Britain, the largest ever. The largest ever. Here is one of the founders, Tommy Robinson.
What would happen if you become a prime minister tomorrow? What would you change?
I would stop Islam. I'd end foreign funding in this country. All the migrants would be taken out of the hotels and sent back tomorrow by the military. I would reverse. I would have remigration. It's time for many Muslims to leave this country if they're not going to integrate or assimilate. It's time to go on. You've got your homes to go to. This is our home. We've got nowhere to go to. We're not allowing it to change any longer. You've seen today, people are fed up, man.
Yeah, people are absolutely fed up. Joining us to talk about that is public speaker, GBN contributor, Newsmax contributor, the one and only Hilary Fordwich. How are you today?
Yes, good afternoon. Great to be with you, Rob. Thank you.
Are you now? I have heard you rather crestfallen when you talk about the nation of your birth over the past couple of years. I've been talking to you. Did the protest this weekend give you a little ray of hope, and the what appears to be the imminent collapse of Keir Starmer? Did that give you a little bit of hope?
Well, yes, it did, actually, Rob. I will say that it's such a changed nation from the nation that I grew up in, certainly.
Yeah.
But it is interesting, isn't it, how history repeats itself, because every 45 minutes, a millionaire leaves the UK. And that's exactly what was happening before Margaret Thatcher came to power, exactly what was happening in the 1970s. It was referred to as the Great Brain Drain, when lawyers, accountants, architects, engineers, anybody with a brain and a profession was leaving the UK. And do you know how the UK government collaborated with the American government to stop that? It was to have the American government pass legislation that all professionals had to re-qualify. That's how they stopped it that time. But history repeats itself, and to answer your question in a nutshell, yes, it is hope. I will say that it was attended also by very many Americans, not the least of which was Elon Musk.
Yes. I have a little audio here from an American journalist talking to some Brits wearing Trump garb.
We need a Donald Trump in the UK. Someone who can see the bigger picture and not be so afraid of what all the politicians are going to think of them when they do stuff.
I'm thinking that Donald Trump is Nigel Farage. What do you think? What do you think?
Thank goodness we got Donald Trump. I don't know what would happen.
Hillary? Are you there?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were.
No, that's right. It kept going. It trailed off a little there. So I think Farage is the Donald Trump of that the British people need.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. And actually, he gets along very well with Donald Trump. We know that he met with him at Mar-a-Lago. I think one thing that's very sad is that we're not aligned timing-wise, like Margaret Thatcher was with Ronald Reagan.
I know.
Because by the time Nigel Farage can become Prime Minister, Donald Trump won't be in office anymore. But let's hope we have another great Republican in office, and then the Marco Rubio, or maybe it's J.D. Vance, maybe Marco Rubio, and that Nigel Farage will be in office then. I think what is also interesting is that during this march, you did see a lot of Charlie Kirk placards, and also them chanting for, you interviewed somebody there, but they were chanting for USA, USA, and President Trump, which I'd never heard of in England during a march.
It is. I had predicted when Donald Trump was going through the throes of political persecution and assassination attempts that when he became the president of the United States, and I never doubted that he would not return to the Oval Office, that freedom and patriotism would sweep the globe. And I think that evil is in its death throes. There's a long way to go with Great Britain because radical Islam has really dug its teeth in deeply into Great Britain. A lot of radical Islamists are mayors in towns around the country. But this weekend, give me an idea of the scope of these protests when you were looking at them, because it looked like the largest in Great Britain's history.
Yes, and actually, I will say, if I could just add, you were right there with your great point when you mentioned about the mayors. Every major town now in the UK has a Muslim mayor, including London, Sadiq Khan, Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, all of the major towns. So that's a real issue. What Winston Churchill said about democracy is it's not a good form of government. It's just better than all the other ones tried. It's a numbers game, and that's one of the tough issues. That's one of the things that you're seeing over there, and I think that's what really scares me. It's the numbers, and it's regular Brits that aren't breeding at the same rate as people in the Muslim religion, and the imams there have said, radical imams have said, we're conquering the West three ways: through your liberal laws, through migration, and via the womb.
Yes. We are seeing the exact same dynamic in America. I live in Fairfax County, where 50%, well, I think it's actually goes to 75% of the murders that have taken place this year are illegal aliens, illegal alien criminals. In Great Britain, you have got Islamists who are committing rape at an untold numbers. And I think, why are not all Britons up in arms about this? It's because the elites just sit and look at it. If it's not happening to me, then I don't have to worry about it.
Sadly, you're right. And actually, I wish they were as up in arms as Nick Shirley.
Yes.
Many of our audience will know that Nick Shirley, of course, there was even this act that was passed in California where they were trying, I think it was the California Assembly bill, Stop Nick Shirley Act for all of the basically the corruption that he's been exposing in California regarding immigration, etc. But in the UK, he was there at the march, Rob.
I know.
Yes. I know. He was there at the march, and you'd think if he will travel to the UK because he's seeing literally exactly the same issue happening in the UK. Yes. So now you ask why people aren't up in arms. And I will say, again, to the fault of Brits, and I was raised this way, not a racist nation, people don't have racist bones. They were very inclusive, very embracing of other ideas and other peoples. And, of course, the Commonwealth did spread across the world, and the empire spread across the world. And so it's always embraced people of different faiths and different different countries and different religions, etc. But this is the issue. They're not coming to the UK to assimilate and to celebrate the British way of life. Just like here, they don't assimilate. They don't want to assimilate. They're bringing a different religion, a different way of life, where basically our grandchildren will be wearing burqas and following Sharia law. And so you ask why people aren't up in arms, and I would give you a one-word answer, Rob. It's called decency. And unfortunately, it's going to be the downfall of the empire.
And suicidal empathy. Don't forget suicidal empathy. Let's continue the conversation on the other side of the break. I want to find out what you think is going to happen when Keir Starmer leaves office, which could happen. It was supposed to possibly happen last week. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Hilary Fordwich, by the way, go to Twitter. Hilary Fordwich is a fantastic public speaker. If you're looking for someone to speak in your event or whatever, she's marvelous. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
So this clip is exactly why Keir Starmer is the most unpopular Prime Minister in history and why Labour is finished.
Tomorrow's march in London is a reminder of what we're up against in the battle of our values. The organisers, including convicted thugs and racists, are peddling hatred and division.
Wow.
Plain and simple.
Yeah. How'd that work out for you there, Keir, after 1 million people came out in London to protest your nonsense and the Islamization of Great Britain? Hilary Fordwich, tell me about Keir Starmer. What's going on with him, and how long is he going to remain in power?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, it's not looking good for him, and he actually, I know people at 10 Downing Street, purportedly he's actually told his closest allies he does intend to step down, but what he wants to do is have kind of an orderly transition. He doesn't want there to be more turmoil, although one could say actually there is, the current chaos is...
Well, how the hell are you going to get more turmoil than what he's presided over?
I know, but he wants it to be dignified. Basically, he wants it to be in his own choosing. Obviously, he wants to make it look like that he's setting out the timetable. Of course, he wants to look like he's in charge. So some of his allies have said, because there's this another poll, another election is coming up, and it's called Markerfield up in the north. And there's canvassing data from that is coming out, and we all know it's going to be negative. But basically, he's been advised, hang on a bit longer and let's see how close that contest is going to be, because if Andy Burnham is defeated, that could change the political situation. Now, who's Andy Burnham? He is this, he's considered the Lord of the North, so to speak. He's a mayor from Northern England, and he right now is the most popular leader in the Labour Party. And so I think Siki is hoping that he doesn't want to be so personally humiliated. That's what the answer is. He wants it to look like it's all him. And so he's basically saying, Burnham he has a campaign message of if you vote for him, that he's going to go down to Westminster and drag Sir Keir Starmer out of Downing Street.
Yes. So whoever takes over for Starmer, I would assume it would not be wise to double down on what Starmer has done. So I would assume that what's going to happen? Who's going to take over if it's not going to be Nigel Farage for 3 years?
Well, I tell you, Wes Streeting just gave a speech, and he actually, I thought he was left of Sir Keir Starmer. At least Sir Keir Starmer kind of tries to sound like he's a balanced, sort of a pro Britain, sort of semi-globalist. And Wes Streeting gave a speech, and he basically actually said, we need to move closer to the EU, although actually Sir Keir Starmer's made many moves like that. I mean, that's basically totally and utterly flying in the face of the 17 million people that voted for Brexit. He's definitely what is referred to in the UK as a Remainer. He literally has gone in the face of the voting public. And many of the things that he laid out in the speech he just gave were even farther left of Keir Starmer.
That's pretty stupid. I mean, honestly, foolishly proud, and I think incredibly stupid, to be quite honest, especially after you consider how many people came out this weekend. And I think the British people who love the country as founded are sick and damn tired of this crap. And, I mean, they're ready to, invade buildings.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. And I think it's not just them that are sick of things. There's lots of Labour ministers that have come out against Sir Keir Starmer. The number was, I think it was 82 this past week, have come out against him. Of course, there are a couple hundred more, but still, that's a lot of his own ministers coming out and saying that he should resign and or not supporting him. So you're definitely going to see change in the UK. The question is when and who. We don't know when, we don't know who, but it's likely to be West Streeting. Some people say Ed Miliband, and other people, like I say Lord of the North, Andy Burnham. And actually, interestingly enough, Sir Keir Starmer blocked Andy Burnham from running recently because I think he considers him as a threat a little while ago. So he knows he's a threat.
Well, I think Keir Starmer ought to get an overnight flight out of Great Britain before, people have had this. I think that people are just fed up. I think they're on a revolutionary footing there, to be quite honest. I'm not saying there's going to be violence, but it's a revolutionary footing. right now in Great Britain. The people have had enough. They've had enough. It never ends well for a party like our Democrat Party. Our Democrat Party is in its dying throes right now. They're desperate. They're clinging to, possibly stuffing the Supreme Court, adding D.C. and Puerto Rico as states. Starmer and his political ilk, they're doing the same thing, trying to shut down speech, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think it's going to end well for them.
You're absolutely right. And what's interesting, I think, is the alignment of how Sir Keir Starmer's Labour government is so similar to the Democratic Party here and what they stand for. And we know that President Trump was swept into office with the sentiment against all the illegals coming across the border. And I think the biggest thing, when I mentioned it, and you mentioned too, you raised during the march, that there were lots of people chanting USA and pro-Donald Trump. And that's because they've seen how swiftly President Trump did move to close our southern border. That's what is wanted in the UK. And I think also there's this tremendous resentment in the UK from definitely what used to be the Labour voters. There was an area of the UK called a country of Wales that many people have heard of. And for the first time in 100 years, Rob, 100 years, since the First World War, it has been a strong Labour seat. And of the colours are reversed over there, and it's red. But it's called the Red Wall, and it was always Labour, and it fell to reform. I think you're seeing that here. Places like California, where we're seeing Steve Hilton, actually, coincidentally, who's English. He works in the 10 Downing Street. Steve Hilton is English. He's running in California. He's doing well in California, and you're seeing politicians that are actually going to change areas, like when President Trump campaigned up in Harlem. I think you're seeing the lower classes in the different countries, they're the most threatened by illegals taking their jobs.
Yes, and Labor, like the Democrat Party, switched and became the party of, not of the people, not of the working people. It's the same damn dynamic. We got to run, Hilary Fordwich. I greatly appreciate you being on the show. You're always excellent, and I hope you, by the way, had a wonderful Mother's Day. You'd be proud of me. I rode my mountain bike 36 miles yesterday, by the way.
Oh, absolutely fabulous. I mean, that ghastly heat here that we had. Kudos to you, Rob. Proud of you.
All right. God bless you. Hilary Fordwich on Twitter. Anywhere else people can find you?
Thank you. Yes, on LinkedIn, Hilary Fordwich, the only one in the world. And I look forward to talking to you again and hearing from anyone about keynote speaking.
All right. Very good. Rob. You bet. Let's take a break and come back. It's the Rob Carson Show. All right. Hold on. I'm going to send her a text. Hilary Fordwich. Hold on, I'm gonna right here. Hilary. Smashing conversation, exclamation point. There you go. Anyway, hello. Hello, see you guys tomorrow. Great show, Rob, BFO5. Thank you very much. It has been a good show today, hasn't it? I wasn't feeling so well this morning. I was kind of tired and had a bad night last night, so I'm feeling much better. Had just a little too much stress in my life the last few days. It's just been ridiculous, and especially after the glorious day yesterday of faith on the National Mall, it was a bummer. But I'm doing better now. And you guys mean a lot to me. Having you here means so much. You have no idea. I felt lonely. I didn't feel lonely before, and now I'm starting to feeling lonely. My daughter's coming in a couple of weeks with my son. She's going to stay all summer. So I cannot wait to show her around, and things are going to really be amazing. All right, what am I talking here? I got to do another break. One more break before I go. Tommy Tuber. Yes. I got this. All right. Hello, Round the Pony. Hello, Beck Ottenberry. How are you? I'm going up to Delaware on the 30th. On the 30th to hang out with first responders. It's going to be amazing. Yeah, and we're going to do something really fun. It involves me getting arrested. Yes. All right, here we go.
First of all, why would President Obama be allowed to bring in 80,000 people from Somalia and put them in one area in Minnesota, which is Minneapolis. And it was all done by plan. It's a third world country, not assimilate, to build their own neighborhoods, to overtake the local, state, and then federal government with Ilhan Omar. She's not even a citizen, but she's in Congress. I can't figure out how we've allowed this to happen. People that are non-U.S. citizens to be in Congress, to be help making laws and voting on things. But
it was a global movement. Barack Obama started it. I'm really starting to get it now. Barack Obama ushered all this in with his minions, his Maoists, his Stalinists around the world, the globalists, the Communist Chinese Party, Neville Singham and George Soros. It's the same dynamic. It's the same dynamic around the world. It's the same dynamic. And guess what? It's finally dying. It is finally in its death throes, but we have to kill it. There you go. There you go. All right. California sees massive surge in Republican votes as more than 900,000 ballots already returned. People are tired of it. Same dynamics in Great Britain. Same dynamics in Great Britain. You've got Democrats or Labor Party, Keir Starmer and Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom, corrupt beyond belief, used government largesse to fill the country with illegals and take over, to upset the country as founded. Same thing. Early voters in the Golden State have already returned more than 900,000 ballots ahead of the June 2nd primary, showing a massive surge in Republican votes compared to 4 years ago. A post on Saturday from the research firm Political Data showed that 905,000 that have been returned, 37% from Republicans, returns up 11% compared to the same stage of the 2022 elections. People are done with it. They are tired of living without, and now they're really tired with all of the bloody corruption out there, and all of the people who've gotten so rich driving Bentleys and creating hospices and getting SNAP benefits and stealing SNAP benefits and selling them and making millions of dollars and living in mansions, while the rest of us had to work 3 or 4 jobs. 3 or 4 jobs to pay the grocery bills under Joe Biden when he started the massive inflation 6 years ago that continues to this day and is leveled off with the exception of gas by and large. But this has all been a plan by the globalists, and it's doing a collapse. And if I close today, I'm going to tell you, once again, stay focused, stay positive. I get knocked down every once in a while. This beautiful faith event on the National Mall buoyed me yesterday, but the forces of evil are trying to bring us back. Hakeem Jeffrey says he's going to crush our souls. Just bring it. Just bring it, you fool. God bless you, America's founded Donald Trump, as he's doing a great job, our military kicking butt in Iran. And until tomorrow, which is Tuesday, do not catch the stupid. I'll see you then.
All right, Robbie, have a good night.
All right, my night.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Chapter, Medicare Guidance Simplified.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit ReliefFactor.com today.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.